Well, here in Gauteng, frustration is growing among parents as thousands of learners, in fact, remain without school placements. Many are blaming the province's online admissions system, saying it's failed to provide clear feedback on the status of applications submitted as far back as last year. Lumka Bekindawo is on the ground with that story. She'll join us live in just a moment. But then Panyaza Lesufi, the Gauteng Premier, is also opening a new school in Sedibeng. Let's bring in Newzroom Afrika's Vuyolwethu Yamba, who is tracking that story now. In fact, let's first go to Lumka. Lumka, let's start with what is an important story, right, on this new academic school year. And it's one that you've been tracking throughout the week, the issue of parents who have still not found a classroom for grades 1 and 8 in particular. On this first day of the school year, how are things looking?
Michelle, parents here are really stressed. They were telling us that they have been coming here since last year because they applied in July. So now they were hoping that by this time their children will be placed, but they find themselves having to come here and queue on these long lines. If I can show you the situation that is currently happening here. The queues are very long. I am sure more than hundreds of parents are here. They are saying that they do not know what is going to happen with their children because they were hoping that by this time their children will be in classrooms, but that did not happen. And also they are blaming the online system, saying that it's failing them. It doesn't work because if it was working, they wouldn't be here today. But we are going to try and speak to some of the parents that are here to get their frustration, because they've been saying that they started to queue here in the early hours of this morning. Some of them arrived here at 3 a.m. But let's try to bring in some parents that are here. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That you're live at Newzroom Afrika. Okay. How long have you been here and what's the situation?
The situation, actually, they said they take only 50 people like in batches. So yeah, I think I was here around 8, yeah. So I don't know how long am I going to be still standing here, yeah.
Your children are supposed to be in classrooms today. How do you feel about this whole online system application?
Yeah, no, it's not a nice feeling. But yeah, I don't know why government decided to do this, but yeah, we soldier on. Here's my daughter here next to me. Yeah, I hope we do get something today. So tomorrow we know what's going to transpire, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Let's bring in another parent. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You are live at Newzroom Afrika. How long have you been here and when did you apply?
I applied last year. Then the problem I'm having now is a placement. My child's not placed. Then I've got, it's a sibling. Supposed to go to the specific school. Then at that school, then the principal wants to take him. But they're saying she's got the instruction from the department that the department said the department will place the child.
Do you think the online application system is working? And what's your suggestion?
I think they must just change, go back to the basics. It's not working. It's a sibling. Then I'm having a sibling, then it's not placed.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Michelle. That's one of the parents here. Let's bring in another parent who is here, or guardian. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You're live at Newzroom Afrika. How do you feel about this whole situation? We see that today there are still long queues and there are learners that are here, which are supposed to be in classrooms.
I think this system is not working. I think it's really not working because it gives a lot of problems when it comes to allocating learners and stuff. Even the system by itself gives a lot of problems, like submitting documents. It becomes hard to submit documents. Sometimes you can't submit documents. Sometimes when you go to school, they say come here. When you come here, you have to go back. Then it's a long process.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Michelle. These are frustrated parents here in Benoni, and what we all can also see is that there are still long queues that are here. These parents are saying that today they were not supposed to be here because their children are supposed to be in classrooms, but because of the placement, they are still here trying to get placement for their children. Michelle.
Lumka, before we let you go, when we spoke on Monday and you were stationed in the very same spot where you are now in Benoni at the district office, there was a promise there made by officials that all of the placements would be resolved by the end of the day. That was Monday. What happened?
Clearly, Michelle, that did not happen as promised on Monday, because when we were here, we spoke with the department spokesperson, Steve Mabona. He mentioned that all the parents that were here that day are going to get help. But when we arrived here this morning, we have noticed that there are parents that we met on Monday that are still here on the queues, saying that it was a lie. They are saying that they did not get any help that day. They had to go home and then came back yesterday, but still yesterday they did not get any help. So today they do not know what is going to happen, because they've been coming here, and what frustrates them the most is that their children are supposed to be in schools by now, so they do not know what is going to happen. They're also mentioning the issue of the school uniform and the stationery. They do not know what to do, because at this point they are confused. And also one of the things that they have mentioned is that it's so difficult to leave their children at home, and when they are going to work, some of them, they are crying, they want to go to school because they see other kids going to school, and then now they have to remain at home not knowing what is going to happen. One of the parents mentioned that her child, she was doing grade 8 last year, 2024. Last year she had a gap year because of the same situation here. So now she doesn't know what is going to happen. Michelle.
Absolutely not the ideal way to start off the new school year. Lumka, thanks for that context.